Hey guys, Furum here, and today I'm going to be testing the BMW i8 Roadster in multiplayer in Asphalt 9 at Golden Max in its multiplayer season. This car basically feels to me like an upgraded version of the ELISE. It does have slightly lower acceleration, handling, and nitro, but its top speed is quite a bit better. It's extremely nice to drive, and it is one of those cars where the perfect nitro makes the car go faster than any other kind of nitro, and I believe it's 186 miles per hour when you have perfect nitro, and 181 or something like that when you are in just shockwave. Now, the good thing with this car, and a lot of the other cars in the game that have this capability, is that the perfect nitro does last quite a while. Most of the time, I was able to stay in perfect nitro for the most part throughout most of my races, and it wasn't that big of a problem. Now, when you come into sections like this on this track, well, you're obviously not going to be able to stay in it all throughout here, and I missed the nitro for whatever reason, but yeah, for the most part, that's not going to be a problem. And I found this car to be very fun to drive, even at lower stars in the Drive Syndicate event, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit. It is still fun. So right now, I do have this car at 2 stars from the Drive Syndicate event, and I did not start up any more than that. So, after seeing just how pay to win the Drive Syndicate event is, I have formulated a plan of attack for it for myself. Seeing that I do not own either the Apex or the 911 GT3 RS, I'm not even sure if it's going to be possible for me to win it, but I've thought of a way that I can save as many Drive Syndicate coins as possible. So what I'm going to attempt to do is every time I get to a section where I need a car that I don't have, like for example with the Apex or the 911 GT3 RS or anything after the Aranera, which I do have max thankfully, I'm going to try to upgrade the car to as much as I can with the Syndicate coins I have at that point, up to the minimum required rank for it. Now, that would be, for example, 4 stars with the 911 GT3 RS. So what I would try to do is try to start up as much as possible close to 4 stars early on in the chapter where it's used, so that I can do all of the hazard level 3 races early on, and only when I get to the final 2 sections in each chapter will I have to go down to the level 2 and then the level 1 hazard races. And this way it saves me as much time as possible while still saving as many Syndicate coins as possible, because I do believe that it is more worth it to save Syndicate coins and not try to star the cars up more, rather than spending and starting the cars up more and doing all of the, the hazard level 3 races and getting access to more pin missions that way. Because yes, with the cars upgraded more, you can get more Syndicate coins out of them. However, I feel that that will not cancel out however many Syndicate coins you'll have to spend on the packs for them, and quite likely, the packs for the other cars are going to be more expensive than they were for the BMW i8, and it's already more cost effective in terms of the Syndicate coins for me to just go through the Lightspeed Chase missions at a 2 level and ignore all of the 3-star and 4-star required pinned missions and hazard levels and things like that. And I've come out with more Syndicate coins than I would have otherwise, and only 1 relay pack bought so far. Going into the Among Skyscrapers chapter with 40,000 Syndicate coins, and hopefully being able to get everything that I can within that chapter with my maxed Aranera, so that I will be in pretty good shape when I get to the Apex next. That's my plan. We'll have to see how it goes. I think that's the best thing that I can do at this time, because quite unfortunately, this Drive Syndicate is a lot more in line with the Jesko one than with the Rimac one. I think Gameloft heard all of the negative feedback about the Jesko one, then thought, oh, we can't do this again right away. People are gonna leave the game like crazy. So they made the Rimac one, which was really nice, and in my opinion, the most generous event in Asphalt 9 history. I really liked that event. It was grindy, but if you had just 5,000 tokens, you could get 5 cars at 3 stars apiece, including the King of D-Class at the time, the Mazda, which is still the king on some tracks today, at least for now, and the Rimac, which I think was king on some tracks at that point too, and some other quite good cars. Now, well, you can spend 6,000 presumably on the Syndicate coins, which will give you, I think, 250,000 total or something like that. And given the cars that are required, I don't think a lot of people are going to have like the Apex and the 911 and all of these cars already upgraded a lot. I'm sure there are some people that do. I know there are, in fact, so it's going to be easier for them. But for most people, including myself really, it's not going to be, and we're going to have to spend a lot of Syndicate coins. So one thing that I wish Gameloft would bring back is just the ability to buy more Syndicate coins with tokens than just with the relay packs. That's one thing that I actually do like better about the First Drive Syndicate than the Rimac one. I don't like being limited in how many Syndicate coins I can buy with my tokens. I know that's probably Gameloft's way of trying to get people to go with the in-app purchases. Like, I understand that, but still, it just makes for an even worse experience. And at this point, given everything that's gone on, I'm fully planning to make a sort of video about this event as well when it's almost over, if things don't turn around in it, because I'm a little bit upset with the way that it's turned out, as you might be able to imagine, as you might be able to tell from everything that I have said about it so far. It feels like Gameloft just completely forgot about all the negative reactions to the Yesco event after they did the Rimac one, and then just went back to what they were doing originally, and it just feels like nothing's changed. Like, I would say that this event might even be worse than the Yesco one. I mean, the hazard levels are more. We can't even buy more Syndicate coins if we need to with our tokens. And we'll have to see, again, all this hinges on just how expensive everything is later on. But I can't imagine it's going to be cheap, given the prices of the BMW packs, which are 5,000 to get like 3 in a pack, maybe on average or something like that. I don't know what it is exactly, but probably the other ones are going to be 10,000 or 20,000 at some point. And I just don't feel like there's going to be enough Syndicate coins to sustain starring up cars many times, like the Apex and the 911. Now, one thing to think about is, in this event, if you don't want to go for the Bugatti, which a lot of people probably aren't going to, it is a good idea to try to go for the other cars in this event, because some of them are very good. This i8 is a very good car. So what I would recommend for those people who do not think they're going to be able to get the Bugatti, still try to go as far in the event as you can, because you pretty much get a new free car at the end or the beginning of every single chapter. And like I said, they're very good cars for the most part. This BMW i8 could be the new D-Class King on some tracks. The Aranera is the new C-Class King on a lot of tracks. The 911 GT3 RS, I don't know if it's a king, but it's super close at the top of Class B. The Apex is a really good Class B car for multiplayer and not quite a king for events, still really good there. And then the new GT Bicetrone is the new fastest car in Class A. So all of the cars in here are good ones. So it is a very worthwhile event to play overall, even if you cannot get the Bugatti at the end, because some of the cars in this, I would argue, are more important or more useful to have than the Bugatti, because even that Bugatti isn't going to be the new king of the game. Some people have talked about this, just that, I mean, it's pretty much going to be a slightly upgraded Sheeran. There's not going to be much more to it than that. It's a little bit better handling. Other than that, its stats at max are pretty much the same. So yes, it'll be a very nice car to drive at max, I feel like. Be able to do some very good times on tracks, but nothing that the Tuatara and the Yesco can't already do, at least from what I have seen so far. So yes, definitely at least attempt this event. Try to get as far as you can in it without spending a ton on it. I wouldn't recommend to spend money on this event, like real money, if you can avoid it, unless you just really, really want the car at the end. I just don't think it's worth that. So if you have time to grind through this event, I would say it is probably worth it in the long run for the good cards that you can pick up on it. But I wouldn't recommend to spend money on it, and if you get to a point where you're stuck, just leave it there. So in this race here, something really weird happened. I went and checked the other car's viewpoint after the race, and there's this ramp over here. There's this route that I've never seen anybody take. Was this ramp always there? You'd think if it was, there would be more people taking this route, because it does seem to be faster than taking the route that I did, at least by a little bit, because he was able to get ahead, and I did my route well, normally like I usually do. So not exactly sure what happened there. Let me know if you've seen that before. Is that new? I've never seen anybody talk about it. So now we are on to our final race in the video, and this is the first multiplayer race in any of my videos to feature Nevada. At least I think so. Yeah, this is the first multiplayer video I've done since the update dropped. So many of the recent videos I've done have just been about the update, and a lot of the crazy stuff have come along with it. It's nice to get back to the groove in the multiplayer videos, which I still feel like form the core or identity of my channel in a sense. So at this point, I was in 3rd place, and one reason I wanted to put this race in the video especially, not just because it's Nevada, the new track, but because in this section here, I was able to pass both of these cars that were ahead of me because they didn't know how to deal with the rough terrain section, which is through that entire part. If you have got a good nitro efficiency car such as this one, you are going to be very well suited for this track. And partially just because of that section right there, I would say that a good nitro efficiency is one of the most important things to have on this track. And this brings me to my general review about this car. The nitro efficiency is great, the handling is great, the acceleration is pretty nice, the drifting isn't the best, but still, again, quite good. So is the top speed. This car is very well-rounded overall, a nice one to drive, and I definitely would recommend trying to start this up in this Drive Syndicate, especially if you're not going to go for the Bugatti. So guys, thank you all so much for watching. Please like the video if you have enjoyed, and consider subscribing for more Asphalt and other games content, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye!